Hi guys, how are you? So sorry about the delay. I think I have it all up and running now. I'm not even sure. Um, Unfortunately, I think the mistake is on Facebook's end, so there's not much I can do about that. But if you um, have it go down, I suggest logging out. Hey everyone. I'm just gonna talk for a couple of minutes till I build up the audience, get everybody on. But thank you for joining me. I see I have one of you. Sorry about the delay and thank you for logging in. Um, anyway, I was saying that I think that the problem's on Facebook's end, so hopefully we won't have any more problems, but not sure. So I'm going to try and keep posted of everything on my phone while I'm talking to everyone and see if it goes down on my phone as well or if it's my laptop. So let's give a couple minutes for everybody to log in. I'm not expecting a huge crowd yet. Hi, Nicole. Thank you for waiting patiently. I know you've been waiting a long time. Thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes. Can you guys tell me, is this too bright, the lighting? Is it washing things out? I know, Nicole, I've had problems off and on too, but I thought it was on my end. I didn't realize that it was Facebook's until I kept rebooting everything and still nothing was happening. So I guess it is Facebook. Is it? Okay. Let me see if I can turn this backlight down a little bit and see if it makes a difference since we're waiting anyway. So give me just a second. I'm going to sit you down. No, that still looks a little bright. This one. Let's see if that's any better. Not much. I don't think turning the other one out will make that much of a difference. Is that a little better? Does that help? Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Yeah. Let me see if I can move it over a little bit. Hold on. Oh my gosh, if I don't break it. Oh, now it's too much to the side. I can't win. Oh my goodness. Good thing we need to wait a minute anyway, huh? Hold on. I can't move it any further out, so that's going to have to do, but hopefully it's a little bit better. Sorry about that. All right, well, I know I had several people that were all ready to go at 8, and a couple of people that needed to get off a little early, so I don't know how many people are going to show up, but I know it wasn't a big group because obviously it's my first one and I didn't advertise or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then whoever joins us can join us as we go. But I guess Nicole, who else do I have with us? I can't, who's the other person besides Nicole that's on? I can't check it at the moment. Does it? Okay. Hopefully we'll try and go with it. We'll try and stick with Facebook. And hopefully we'll get through this, but if it keeps cutting out, I don't know, we might have to reschedule because I don't think it has to do with my laptop or I think it's actually on Facebook's end. So we'll try and go with this and see how things go, but if we keep cutting out and having technical problems, then I'll reschedule. Okay, hi Jamie. Hi Celeste. Thank you for coming. Sorry about the delay. We've just been fixing lighting while waiting. But anyway, I am going to do my best to try and give you guys some really good readings tonight. With the technical difficulties, literally I spent almost an hour fighting with it before I realized that it wasn't on my end, because for some reason my phone was connecting to Facebook, but my laptop and my tablet weren't, so I thought that it was my internet connection. Thank you. So with doing all that, stressing out about that, plus also this being my first live reading, all of that can kind of suck the energy out of everything. So I've done everything that I can on my end to try and bring my vibration up, get the energy up so that we can make some good connections. So I'm going to try and do my best. If for some reason I cannot connect with your loved one or whoever you want to connect with, or whatever your question isn't able to be answered because I can't connect with the proper being, then what I will do is I'll go ahead and provide you with a card reading or a pendulum reading. Because for some reason that tends to work a lot easier because you don't need as much energy to be able to do that as you do with actually mediumship. So the plan is, if I can't connect with your loved one tonight, don't fret. I'll go ahead and do some other kind of reading for you, and then we can either schedule a private reading, which I'll still do for free after this, or I can put you on the list for the very next time, because I am going to be doing more of these in the coming weeks. And while I've got more people joining us, I'll take a minute to explain that I actually have some really cool things that I want to do with my page in the coming weeks besides the live readings. I'm also going to do a couple of live healings, energy healings. So you're welcome, Raquel. Hi, good to see you. Hi, Cynthia. Yeah, my first live reading. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So yeah, if I don't, I'm sorry, I get distracted really easy. I am going to be doing a couple of live healings in the next couple of weeks. And my first one is something that I recently experienced with a teacher of mine that was amazing. I couldn't have even expected the outcome to be so great, because I literally did this healing 2 nights ago in one of my courses for financial healing. I knew I had a lot of issues about money, but I didn't know the extent of it and how deep it ran. And I just knew that every time I started to think about money, financial issues, I got really tense. I got really anxious and sometimes felt it physically in my body because of some chronic health issues and having to stop working uh, about almost 18 years ago now. We've struggled significantly financially. So you don't even realize how much of a toll that takes on you until things start manifesting even more physically in tension and anxiety. So I did this healing with my course instructor, and I had no expectations at all. I was just going along with it for the course. And I literally started to feel my solar plexus just open up. My chest just lifted, and it felt like a brick was coming off of my chest that I didn't even realize had been there. But once it was gone, it was this incredible experience of realization of how much money must have impacted me emotionally, mentally, and physically. So as I started tuning into that feeling, then I realized that these little lines right here were starting to part and lift up, and my forehead literally relaxed for the first time in ages. And I literally felt my eyebrows lifting up. So that's how much tension I was holding in my head, and just everything mind-wise around money. So I want to share this experience with you, and I'm hoping that it'll be just as powerful for the group as it was for me, because I went into that having no expectations at all and was amazed. But the bigger, more incredible thing is that was just the night before last. Literally yesterday, I had money fall into my lap out of nowhere that I hadn't expected. And then last night or this morning, something else great happened that all evolves around money and situations that I have not been able to manifest anything money-wise like that noticeably. I'm sure I have, but I wasn't aware of it. But I realized in the last 24 hours that this has all been manifesting because of that. And once I realized that it was because of that clearing, I got really excited because now I know that it can happen more, and it's going to continue because I don't have those blocks that I had before. So I want to share that with you guys. So if you're interested, please watch for the posts. I will be updating that probably tonight or tomorrow with the exact information on that. And I have several other types of healings and clearings I want to share as well. And all of that is free. And while I do charge for certain things, I believe that certain things are meant to be shared with the collective and really to just help everyone. And having come from a lot of problems with money, I know a lot of people can't afford to pay for those services. So they should be available to everyone on a certain level to a certain degree. So let me see what you're saying here. Were you? Oh, that's awesome, Nicole. Okay, great. Yeah, send it to me, or we can schedule a video chat as well. Okay, so I have the list, and I'm going to try and stick to the list. I know there's only a few of us here at the moment, but I'm sure quite a few of you are from the list already. I'm going to start there, but sometimes Spirit just kind of takes its own course and steps in when it wants to and may interfere. So I will try and stick to the list, but if I get distracted or go off course with somebody else, don't worry, I'll get back to you. And I will make sure that everybody that wants a reading gets one. Maybe not tonight, but I will get to you either in private or on the next reading. Oh, that sounds great, Cynthia. Well, I'd love you to participate. So please, I will inbox me if you have any questions in the meantime, but watch for those posts. But is Rachel here? I didn't see her yet. Rachel, did you come on when I wasn't watching? Rachel or Tracy, and then Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. That would be great, but I'm sure you don't have too much in the way. But yeah, if first is Rachel, then Tracy, and if neither of them are here, then we'll move on to Nicole. While we're waiting to see if they respond, I will explain a little bit about how I get the messages, because everybody's a little bit different, and if you're not aware of how they are received, you may think that it's inaccurate or misinformation at first. Hi, Raquel. Got you down. Okay. we all get messages in different forms, and I am still fairly new to this, in the sense of really only been honing in on the mediumship stuff this year, well, in the last year. And I basically get images in my mind's eye of like still photographs. Some people see movies, some look like cartoons. It can be any kind of an image, but I actually get, yeah, I'll add you, Jamie. I actually get still images like old photographs, and it's not a picture that somebody actually took. It's just the way that Spirit shows me who they are or what they want me to see. So they'll show me an image of themselves, or they'll show me an image of a place that they had visited to help you validate that it is them, or to give you a message that resonates with you. And then I also just get words. Sometimes it's full sentences, but most of the time it's individual words, sometimes put a couple together. And for the most part, when I get those, I can piece that all together to give you a full picture of what they're trying to say. But sometimes that takes some mystery work, some solving. So at first, as I connect, I may give you just a bunch of random words that to everybody else doesn't make any sense. And it may not to you at all at first either. You may hear it and it doesn't resonate at first, but then the more we get into the reading, all of a sudden it makes sense and it triggers a memory for you. Sometimes you won't actually recognize something until days later. So even though it may not seem, I apologize, I'm jiggling there on my laptop. So even though it may not resonate with you at the moment, just kind of put it in the back of your mind so that if something comes up in the coming days that reminds you of that or triggers that memory, then it'll make sense to you. Because sometimes Spirit doesn't bring up exactly what happened yesterday or a month ago. Sometimes they bring up things that happened years ago, and to them it's super clear because they have no concept of time. I mean, they have the concept, but it means nothing to them. So they don't always necessarily think that you're not going to get it or not remember it, because it might be something that's a little buried. But after the reading, all of a sudden it might come to you, or after a good night's sleep, or when you have more energy. So I'll give out random words, pictures of things that I'm seeing, and sometimes I get symbols. So if I get a symbol of, I'm thinking a birthday cake because that was just in Celeste's reading. If I see a symbol of a birthday cake, I may say birthday or birthday cake, and to you it is a literal birthday cake that I can describe perfectly, but it may just be a symbol for the word birthday. So we might have to go around it a little bit to figure out exactly what the meaning is. And sometimes if I have several people in a room, or in this case online, I might start getting messages for somebody else and not realize that it's not the person that I'm trying to read for. So if I give you something that doesn't resonate, or does, please just validate it for me and say, yes, that makes sense, or no, it does not. And if it doesn't, it's okay. If you're just watching somebody else's reading and something resonates with you, but it didn't with the person I'm reading for, just drop me a line and let me know that, yeah, I have an Aunt Sally and she did just go on vacation last week, and that makes sense to you. And then we'll know that maybe I'm on the wrong person, and then we can try to figure out whether to proceed with the person I was with or put that on the back burner for a second and go to the other person. So a couple more people joined in, Heather, Raquel. As I was explaining to everybody, I was really kind of stressing with the Wi-Fi, the Facebook going down, and that kind of got me a little wired, but not the positive kind of energy. So I was explaining to them that I am going to do my best to do good mediumship readings for everybody that wants a mediumship reading, but combined with that and a couple other things, it could interfere with my level of energy and being able to connect. So if I'm having any difficulty connecting with Spirit tonight, which I don't think I will because I've actually sensed a couple of people in this evening since I've been doing things. But if I do not connect properly with your loved one tonight, I will, if you would like, instead, I will give you a card reading or a pendulum reading, and then I will still try and connect with your loved one in a future reading, or we can schedule a private reading. And as I was telling them, that would still be done for free, maybe 15 or 20 minutes in a private session to connect with them so that you still get the experience that you were hoping for. But I'm hoping everything's going to go well. If you can see my background here, it's a little crazy. It's because the only quiet place in my home is my daughter's bedroom in the basement. She's a teenager, and she has some strange but unique, cool taste, except for I don't know what this butcher thing is up on the wall. Yeah, she's a little unique, but I love her. So I've got my candles and angels and altar thing I built here, and then there's skeletons, but she's got her dream catchers. But but I did everything I could to raise the energy down here so that we can have a really good reading. I'm not going to take any longer to talk about it. So I didn't see Rachel or Tracy come on. If I'm incorrect about that, please speak up now. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and start with Nicole. Nicole, did you think of a question that you'd like to ask? And if so, did you still want to go with mediumship? Yeah, she's got some crazy things, but I love her diversity. She's pretty awesome. If you have a question, or if you changed your mind. Oh, is she? Okay. All right. Let me see. I wasn't looking at my phone for any other messages here. Too busy. Okay. All right. So your grandfather's multiple or just one? And are they both passed then? And your parents are struggling with that? Am I understanding this correctly? Okay. All right. Okay. Let me see what I can do here. Just bear with me because I am a little slow at connecting at first, but once I get it, it's usually good. So give me just a second here. Sure, I understand. Let me see. Okay. I don't know if this is, I think this is for you, Nicole, but it might not be. I'm getting the names of an Arnold and a Ray. Now, I asked if your grandfathers were available to come through, but somebody else may come through for you as well until we identify who that is. So, do you know an Arnold or a Ray, living or deceased, family member or friend? Or it could be a family member or friend to your grandfathers or something related with them. A Ray. Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you for saying that. I'm so glad you said that because that's the other thing I wanted to share. I can get a lot of accurate words, but names come through a little sketchy sometimes. Sometimes I get a name that sounds like a name, or I will get two names combined into one. Okay, there you go. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that. Okay, great. Okay, so sometimes the names will come together and we have to separate them to make sense. So be thinking along that lines if I say a name that could sound like two names in one, like Daniel Ann or Danielle, could be Donald or Donnell. Could be a lot of things that sound similar. Okay, great. Let me see if I can get some information from them. Okay, I'm getting that Ray is definitely here and is saying hi. Okay. Well, this may sound really vague in general, but it's very sweet and I can feel the love and the connection. He says he loves you both and that he's with you both off and on all the time between you. So right before I read your about your mom, I just want to state that because I don't know that it necessarily pertains to her. It came through before that. I heard the word music and something about a particular type of music or song. Let me see. Let me ask him what he means by that. Okay, he says that there's a particular song, I think it's song or type of music, but I'm pretty sure it's a particular song that he's been making come on. Okay, there's a particular song that he's having come on, I guess the radio, to so pay attention. I don't know if your ask your mom because it might be for your mom, but pay attention to if you see or hear, hear a particular song that seems to play frequently that would remind you of him or her. And he said that's him either having them play that song or he's playing or letting you know to pay attention at that time. Okay, good. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, that is definitely him. That he is doing that that's his way of letting you know that he's there with you and that he's trying to comfort you by bringing you that memory of him. Was it? Oh, that's really sweet. That's awesome. He's got a really sweet sense about him. I don't know if he did then, but he does now. It's very sweetheart. Let me ask him what else he'd like to say. I'll ask him about your parents and your mom. Mhm. Okay. He says that please tell your mom not to miss him because he didn't go anywhere. It's just the physical body. And he knows, he understands that's hard. It's not easy that you can't wrap your arms around him or see him physically. But he said to tell her that he visits her constantly. He's with her all the time. He's with everybody. And that's the great thing is he can be now, he has no limitations in the body that he had. He's free of that body. So he can be in multiple places at one time. He can now be with you and your mother and your sisters all at the same time and spread that love. And he said to tell your mother when she's thinking about him and starts to get depressed to imagine reaching out and touching him and that he'll be touching back and see if she can feel that. She should be able to start sensing the energy the more she does it. But he said if she feels a touch, brush of the hair, she might just think the fan is blowing it or something, air conditioning. But that's actually his way of reaching out and trying to help her feel that connection. So he wants her to not be sad, obviously. He doesn't want to see her hurt, but he understands. So he's trying to do things on the other side, from the other side, to try and validate to her that he's still here. So I think that if we can give her some more things to think about when she misses him, that she can focus on those things, like listening for the songs, feeling the touch, reaching out to touch him, and that'll help. Okay. Yeah, well, tell her that if it feels like it blows a little more, it feels kind of strange, that's actually him reaching out to touch her. He's trying to comfort her because he senses at that point that she's missing him or missing the touch, the physicality of being able to see and touch him. So let me see if there's something else he wants to say. He says that he wants you to know. He knows you're worried about your mother, and he appreciates that, but he wants you to know that he's extremely proud of you. He said that he knows that things haven't always been great between you and your parents, and that you still have such a big heart that you're worried about them and worried about your mom and her feelings and her concerns when you're still struggling in your own ways. And he wants you to know that he's very proud of you for that he sees the heart that you have, and that you have, I want to say this sensitively, but one of the bigger hearts in the family, and that he recognizes that, and he really appreciates that. So he didn't want this reading to go all about your mom. He wants you to know that he's very proud of you. Let me see what else. Okay, I'll get to that. What else do you want to tell her? I, I think, oh good, I'm glad. I think, did you say the other one is the jokester? Because I just heard Ray say that Arnold is here, and I said, I know, or I said, okay, I think I knew that, but let's stick with you for a minute, see what else you want to tell her, or if she has any more questions for you. And instead I hear, and if you said Arnold is the jokester, then Ray probably didn't say this, but or Donald, excuse me, Donald, you're right. You said that. Um, he, when it comes to voices in my head, it's very frustrating because I know a lot of mediums hear different voices than their own, but everything sounds like my own voice. So I have to differentiate between spirit by their energy or the personality. So I can have 2 or 3 spirits coming through, and yet they all sound the same to me, except for the way they talk personality-wise, the wording. So the reason I say that is because he says Donald is here, and it did sound like Donald that time. But he said, is it? Okay. He said that, and I thought I was still talking to Ray, but I hear, hey, tell Nicole when she goes by a playground that she can laugh because she'll probably see me there spinning on the merry-go-round or swinging on the swings, waving at her. I don't know what that means or why he's saying that, but that's what I heard. I heard playground, swings, merry-go-round, smiling and waving at her. So that's his way of coming in and saying hi, I guess. So let me see if I can get Ray anything else out of Ray. Before I move on to Donald, did you want to ask Ray anything else? And while I wait for that response, I'll see if he says anything else. He said, no, not really. Because I asked if you want to say anything else to Nicole. He said, no, not really, just as long as she knows I love her and that I'm a little more worried about her. He said, I want her to find her happiness. I want her to find her joy. And while I appreciate that she's worrying about her mother and everybody else, that's her simple nature. And he said, and I know she's going to anyway, but I want you to tell her that she doesn't need to keep worrying because that's not her burden to carry. But I'm like you, so I get it. And he does too. Okay. Sure. Absolutely. Let me ask him. Okay. He said, the only thing that you can do is bring these messages to them, assure them that he's okay, that they're okay. They are at peace. They're fine. They're happy. There's nothing that they are suffering from in any way. So, hopefully that will bring your mom some peace. But he basically said, all you can really do, that's all you can really do. That and shine your own light for them. Set the good example. Because while there's a lot of great qualities about each one of your family members and your parents, you tend to be very responsible and tend to want to take responsibility for everybody that you love. And he wants you to realize that he never wants that to change. He never wants you to stop being that wonderful person, but he doesn't want you to stress about it so it starts to begin to affect you physically as well. He said, bring her these messages, be supportive in a loving kind of way, and set the example and shine your own light because you're doing a great job. Yeah, oh, I'm sure. But he says you've got to understand that they've got to do it themselves. That if they're not willing to do the work necessary, then there's no amount of work, effort, or even love that you can give them that's going to really make that difference. So he said, those things are the only things that you can really do. Just being yourself, offering the love and the support, setting your own example. But beyond that, they have to want to get better. They have to want to make the changes physically within their life and mentally and emotionally to be able to move forward, remove any blockages that are in the way. So he doesn't want you stressing and then worrying to the point of it developing physically within you when it's like beating your head against a wall. It's never going to sink in if they're not willing to receive that and do their part and what they have to do. So, yeah, I have to agree with him because there's certain people that they'll take and take and take, but they're still not willing to do the work on their end and on their part, and they have to do that. They have to be open to forgiveness. They have to be open to letting go of the negative emotions. And if they don't do that, then they're subconsciously choosing to stay in their own suffering. So I hope that helps somewhat. I don't want to take too much more time because I want to be able to get to several other people, but if you'd like, I'm more than happy to ask Donald a question for you as well, because we've got him here, so we can do that. And then, I don't know if she's here, but if she is, I didn't see her, but Natalie or Jackie, and then Cynthia, who was here earlier. Okay, good. Okay, I'll ask him. Okay. Okay. Sure, I understand. Hold on just a second, Heather, and then I'll see who else is here too. There's only a few of us, so let me think before I lose my train of thought. I'll be right with you. The connection with Donald got really weak and was kind of going in and out, and I was kind of getting pieces. I heard head of the family, strong, and I got the sense what he was saying is that everybody is hurting right now, and that he needs your father to be strong and understand that he is not gone and that he's still with him, and that he doesn't need to carry any burden or guilt. I'm hearing, I don't know why, but I'm hearing the word shame. I don't know what your father may be carrying from his passing or his relationship. I don't know if he's regretting something, but that's the feeling I get, like he has a regret around his relationship with his father and the passing. Well, there you go. That would make sense. Yeah. He's saying, oh, okay. Like I said, it's a weak connection, so I'm just getting individual words here, but I did hear guilt and shame. I think he's really trying to say that he's not responsible. He doesn't want him to bear that burden, that it was his time to go. And when it's his time, there's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop and prevent that. If it wasn't a risky surgery, it would have been a heart attack. It would have been something else for that to happen. And we can't humanly intervene with that unless it's meant to be. And I just get a real, even in a weak connection, I get this feeling like he's feeling bad because your dad's feeling bad, and he doesn't want that. He wants him to know that there was nothing he could do. The events wouldn't have changed, even if the surgery hadn't happened. The event would have happened just in a different way, and he wants him to know that. And he wants him to know that he needs him to understand that, because he's the head of the family, and he needs him to be able to be strong, even though he understands the pain. He needs him to be strong so that he can be there for everybody else. He can't be there for everybody else if he's beating himself up that much. Okay? Because I feel like he really is proud of your father in a lot of ways, but your dad doesn't feel that. Your dad doesn't think that. And he wants him to know that he is proud of him, and that he does look at him as the man of the family now, and he needs him to take his place and to be there for everybody the way he would want to be if he could still be here. So if you can give that to your dad, hopefully that'll bring some kind of closure. I mean, I know it's hard hearing it third party, but hopefully he'll feel that, and with your dad being able to be, or excuse me, your grandfather being able to be around your dad at the time, maybe while you're telling your dad this, he can, yeah, okay, good. Hopefully he can give him some sense of solace and comfort at the time that you're trying to explain it to him. Hopefully he'll be able to sense his energy enough, even if he doesn't recognize that's what it is, that your granddad and your dad's guides will be able to help him understand that. So I would do that, Nicole. That's another thing that you can do. You can ask for their guides to help them. You know, I mean, they're trying, they really are, but there's still free will. They can't force them to do the things that they need to do. But you can turn to them for strength as well and explain to them that you're worried about them, please. And you can ask them to help with specific feelings and emotions and things that you know your parents are struggling with. And good. I think that if you do those things, that will help a lot. And hopefully in doing that, they'll be able to guide your parents in the right direction. While they can't force them to do anything, they can at least influence them in one way or another to help them make better choices to help heal these things. So I think that was pretty beautiful. I hope it really did help. And if you have any other questions, you can get with me later and we can try and do some more. Okay? Thank you for being so patient. And thank you for giving me the messages from Natalie and Tracy too, because I'm still not being able to get on here with my phone very much either. Good. Thank you. Okay. So if you guys would for me, just because I can't see on my phone who's here and it's not showing up on my screen like I can normally get it to, but Facebook was acting so weird that when I was trying to fool around with live and get chat and different things up, it was going off on me. It kept erroring out and saying no network. So can you guys just each give me a sound off and just let me know who's here again? And if we have time, I'm going to go ahead and slip Heather in here but I want to make sure that I don't skip a couple of the ones that I know have been here from the get-go. Okay. Jamie. Okay. Heather, Jamie, and Raquel. Celeste. Okay, that's 5. I should have 2 more people. If Cynthia, okay. Okay, well, Cynthia, you would actually be next. Do you have time? Can you stay on just long enough for your reading? Because I can put you in as matter of who was here first and on the list already, you are next. So I could do you now, and then Raquel, Jamie, and Heather. I should be able to get you all in before I have to sign off. So Cynthia, if you can hang on long enough for the reading, we can do it now, but if you can't, I understand. And I will, if you would like, either put you top of the list next. Yes, you can? Okay. All right. Did you send me a question already, or do you want to tell me what your question is? And then while I'm waiting on your question, we're going to do Cynthia now, then Raquel, Jamie, and Heather. And then we'll see if I can have time to get to anybody else, because that's in order of who was here first and already had their name on the list. Jamie didn't have her name on the list till she was on here, but I added it after those that had. And okay, Celeste, thank you. I love you. I'll talk to you soon, okay? And I didn't get a chance to respond to your message yet. I was going to after this. So when I'm finished, I'll respond to your personal message. Thank you. Okay, anyway, so Jamie did ask before Heather, but I definitely will try and fit you all in here tonight. Okay. So Cynthia's question. While I'm waiting for Cynthia's question, I know Ethel and someone else just joined. So I'll just do a quick rehash of what I'm doing for those of you that just joined. I am trying to connect with spirit to do these mediumship readings. So far, excuse me, I've been successful. Excuse me, I need to get a drink. But we are having problems with Facebook. And because I was having problems with Facebook and had to start a little bit late, kind of drained a little bit of my energy, so I'm going to read as long as I can, or at least till 10:30, at least another hour. And then we'll see if I can keep going. Okay, yeah, I saw you come in, Ethel, thank you. So I'm going to keep trying to get as many people as I can in the next hour or so. But if for some reason my energy drains and I can't connect with your loved one tonight, I was explaining that I will either do a private free session with you for 15 to 30 minutes or so after this in the next couple of days, or I can put your name on the top of the list for the next live reading. So we'll just see how things go, but so far so good. So also has anybody seen Cynthia's question yet? I didn't see it come through, but I've learned from other readers that can be spirit interfering. So if you don't mind, Nicole, that would be great. I would really appreciate that. Yeah. That would be very helpful. I would appreciate that. And I will start a file section, just like Megan does, within our group. So, and I'll post that for future readings so that everybody can just sign up that way. Okay. Are you able to see this? Because it's not coming through for me. Okay. All right. Cynthia, do you have a particular spirit guide you want to connect with, or do you just want to know whoever comes through and steps forward? Now I see you. Yes, Cynthia. I see the O is my message not coming through, but I did not see it the first time. But that is not uncommon when we're dealing with spirit. For some reason, it's happened with a lot of other readers that I've watched. So I may have to ask multiple times, and then whoever else is watching, if they see it pop up on their feed, they may have to repeat it for me, like Nicole just did. So I am happy to try and connect with your spirit guide, but do you have a particular one, or did you just want to talk to whoever comes through for you? Okay. All right, great. Give me just a second to connect with her. Okay, Cynthia, I saw that. Thank you. Okay, Cynthia, will and can connect with your spirit guide, but I just need to ask because I don't know if they're messing with me or there really is an Arnold here. There was a Donald because they're telling me Arnold and Donald are here. Do you or anybody that's listening, is anybody associated with an Arnold that has passed? If you are, you can go ahead and cut in even on Cynthia's because I'm trying to place this person that is here and they're still insistent that they haven't spoke yet. So they're telling me Arnold, Donald, and Ronald. Cynthia, do you know any of these people? I mean, Donald's for Nicole, unless there's another Donald that's stepped in. But do any of those people ring a bell with you, Cynthia? Living, deceased, friend, family? I didn't ask specifically for your spirit guide yet. I just asked around you. So this may or may not resonate with you. I'm just asking to see if it places with you or somebody else. And while I wait to hear from you, Cynthia, or anybody else that recognizes Arnold or Ronald, I will go ahead and ask about your spirit guide as well. Okay, Cynthia. And don't worry about the Arnold and Ronald. I'm sure I'll figure out who they are. They may be for somebody else that was supposed to come in and watch, um, and that they know that they were anticipating that person coming in. That person may have not been able to connect. I know a couple of people have been having technical problems, and this could be a loved one for them that's trying to reach them and is just waiting. So I will figure that out. We'll get to that. But for you, I'm hearing two names as far as spirit guides go. Now, you can have multiple spirit guides. In fact, you can have a lot of them. um, I've heard anywhere from just 3 or 4 to in the 20s to 30, believe it or not. That's unusual and rare, but I'm one of those crazy people that seems to have a lot. But I'm getting Gerald and Maurice. And the one that stepped forward, so I don't know if this is the one that you're aware of. I actually personally have 3 main spirit guides. So this could be one of the main spirit guides. You know what? Let me ask with real quick. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here, because sometimes you can only get so much information from spirit, or you can get it choppy, connection-wise, energy-wise. I resort to my pendulum to ask questions as well. But I want to ask a couple questions, and when I asked Maurice something, he didn't answer or I didn't hear it, but I saw him. Maurice was the one stepping forward. And I'm thinking a different ethnicity. He is a black man, young black man, appearing to be in about late 20s, early 30s. Now, age is not always relevant. They can appear at any age that they want, but just so you have a visual of what he looks like. He's stepping forward in a denim shirt that's it's a button-down denim vest, sleeveless, but it's not. It's a shirt. It's not a vest, but it's buttoned down and it's sleeveless. And then it's not tucked in, and he has like kind of like cargo pants, but they're like beach pants. I don't know how to describe them, but they're like khaki and rolled up at the bottom. And he has short hair, and he has some kind of an accent. It sounds like my voice, but I'm sensing that there's an accent. So some sort of other ethnicity. I'm not 100% sure. But he is acknowledging that he's your guide, and I'm just going to use my pendulum because I asked if he's one of your main guides, and I didn't hear anything. I'm going to check to see what type of guide he is, if you hold with me for a second. Yes, okay. He is one of your main guides. Let me see if I can figure out how many you have here. Okay. I think that you have 3 main guides as well, but let me see if I can connect to him a little bit more. But what would you like to know? What would you like me to ask? And while I wait for your question, I'll see what I can get from him or the other one. He actually, he's funny. He said that you actually do have quite a few people up there supporting you, or out there. You've got a pretty good sized spirit team. You're very loved and supported. Okay. I don't know if he's done it already or they, your guides in general, have done it already, but he says that at least in the future, this is how it's coming through because of my bits and pieces that I get, because it's choppy words. I have to piece it all together. I don't, like I said, I don't know if he's done it in the future, but he's telling me that you need to look for objects that he'll leave laying around that you don't know where they came from or that seem to have been moved. But specifically, he showed me coins. So I don't know, pennies, coins, things like that. If you find random coins or pennies laying around on the floor, countertops, and you don't know where they came from, he's going to do that to help let you know that he's around. Now with mine, they have all kinds of different ways. I mean, you might see angel messages, like repeated numbers. Mine have me seeing the same times on the clock all the time. I mean, every day I like look at the clock at the same time every day. I hadn't looked at the clock that much since just being on this call, but I immediately looked at it at 9:11. I look at the clock at 9:11 every morning, 9:11 every night. And I used to, before I was awakening, used to just think it was me, my brain being registered that way. But when I started paying attention to it, I started noticing that I don't just see those numbers in the clock, I see those same exact numbers throughout the day in signs, in license plates, church signs as I drive by, the overhead highway sign that tells how many fatalities they had this month or whatever, or how many minutes to such and such. Every time I go by, I see the same numbers. So he didn't say that for you, but that is a very common way for your guides and angels to try and connect with you and let you know that you're loved and supported. So if you see that and it's the same kind of numbers all the time, look it up online. There's websites you can look up and they'll actually have a message for you that is represented by that number. But he's specifically saying that his way of wanting to let you know he's around is by leaving you coins. So watch for that. But give me just a second to ask some more. Okay, he says that similar to Nicole's grandfather, he said touch, that you may feel strange touch every once in a while, like something brush against your arm. But more so, he's saying your name, that you might think that you've heard your name called, like waking up out of a sound sleep, you think you're hearing your name called, or think you hear a voice coming from the other room, but you know nobody's home with you, and you think it's the TV's on in the other room, and you go to look and it's not. He said those are ways that you can know that they are trying to call out your name. You may hear it audibly in your head, but you may also actually hear it with your own ears. So if you hear your name called, or it may even sound like one of your loved ones talking to you, because sometimes they'll use like your mother's or your child's voice so that it doesn't startle you and scare you to death and you think there's a intruder in the house and you go heading for the closet. So listen for that and know that no matter what the voice sounds like. It's their way of letting you know that they're around. Is there anything else? Do you want me to see if anybody else is around, or do you have another question for him? I'll take one more question for you before we move on to somebody else. Good, because he makes it sound like he'll do it more often now that you're asking. Well, if that's true, Cynthia, which I believe is true, then you need to look at every little thing that seems out of place, because you're probably more in tune with them than you even realize. And they're probably really trying to get your attention, but you're just so caught up in everything that you don't realize that that's a sign. So just try and be really aware of your surroundings and try and be in the moment every day so that you're not missing those signs, because they probably are giving them to you if you have abilities. I'm sure they're trying to get your attention so that they can help you with those things. Okay. Okay, sure. Let me ask. Yes, Cynthia, that's it. I guarantee you, because I am the same way. And it took me, I mean, I've caught on pretty quick, but I can just imagine my guides wringing their hair because they are just so frustrated with me because I get in my head and I get in the way so much. I think they've probably been trying to contact me for years, and I totally missed it because I just think through things too much. Always looking for a logical answer or a scientific answer until I realize there isn't always one. Sometimes we got to get out of the way of that, or open up and really be open to the possibility of them being around you and talking to you and connecting with you. Because when I just asked him what advice he wants to give you, he said he wants you to work on raising your vibration, continue to work on raising your vibration, just by the few things that you've been doing already, and you're being more open-minded and aware and trying to seek out more. You're already starting to raise that vibration and make things possible, but he's saying he wants you to continue to work on raising your vibration so that they can communicate with you more, because he said they are trying to, but until you're able to raise that vibration high enough, then they can lower theirs to meet you in between. And if your vibration isn't high enough, you are going to miss a lot of the things that they're trying to tell you until you get that up. Are you aware of different ways that you can raise your vibration? Or do you need some suggestions on that? I'll let you go ahead and answer that question, but in the meantime, he's telling me that the best and most strongest way to raise your vibration, which you may already know, and it's kind of an obvious answer, but it's not an easy one for everybody, and that is to meditate. And he said that meditation isn't always easy for you, so he wants you to meditate any way that you need to clear your head. He says whether it means dancing around the room to drumming music, or cranking up your favorite song and singing and dancing before you try and calm your head, that actually is a form of meditation. That actually clears your mind, clears your thoughts, clears the worries and the anxieties, and it gets you out of that mind space of that monkey brain where that chatter's going on and you're thinking about the things that are separating you from your abilities and from being able to hear your guides. So think out of the box as far as it goes for meditation. You don't have to sit in an absolutely quiet environment just listening to silence. I mean, some guided meditations are really good that you can find online, but until you're able to quiet that chatter a little bit, those still might not be the best source for you. So getting out in nature, taking walks, and then anything that you can do to focus on something else. If there's something you're passionate about, I don't know whether it's baking, cooking, cleaning, put the earbuds in or crank up the music and just do what you're passionate about and try not to think about anything else. That is a form of meditation. You get in your Zen space. I know I don't enjoy cleaning, but if I put earplugs in and just start listening to music, I get in the zone, and I can, well, before I was sick and physically couldn't do it as much, I would clean, and before I knew it, in 15 minutes I had a good portion of the house cleaned. So finding that thing that puts you in that Zen space where that time flies by and passes before you know it means that your brain wasn't focusing on things that you shouldn't be. And yes, and you know, doing that, you will find it's amazing how listening to loud music, even heavy metal, if that's your thing, as long as it's something you're passionate about, I mean, to some people that would just drive them nuts, but if you love it, it calms you. It calms your thoughts, it calms your breathing, it calms your blood pressure. Yes, it might get your heart rate up for a little bit as you get into it, but then after that, you find yourself so much more relaxed, and that's when you can go inward. That's when you can stop and think and ask your guides and your angels whatever question you need then, and you'll be more open and susceptible to hearing it. That raises your vibration. Now you're nice and calm. Now you're open to hearing things. And you'll notice that in time, and it doesn't take that long, a few weeks, even sometimes just a few weeks, couple weeks of doing that regularly, you'll find that now all of a sudden you can sit and meditate quietly with silence, and your brain can handle it. So that's what he's saying. That's your number one thing that they want to see you accomplish, raising your vibration. And you can do other things to raise your vibration. There's lots of other ways to do it. But he said for you, that is the one thing he'd like to see you work on and focus on, because I think you either struggle with it, or as you do it, you're still just thinking too much. So he wants you to find other ways to do it so that it's comfortable for you and you actually enjoy it, and then it'll help you get used to doing it in other ways. Does that make sense? I'm going to wait for Cynthia's reply, but Raquel, are you still here? Raquel, if you're still here, please drop me a note. And Jamie, if you're still here, just so I know, because that's who's up next. And while I wait for all of those replies, Raquel, if you're still here, let me know what you want. If you still want a mediumship reading, or if you've changed that, okay. And what kind of reading you still want, and the question. And while I wait for all of that, I'm going to try and go ahead and connect to your energy and see who's here. Even if we do a cards or a pendulum, I can still do that. Okay, Jamie, great. While you're waiting, Jamie, go ahead and think about what you'd like done. You have your choice of the mediumship, or we can do a card reading or pendulum. Pendulum, you can ask several questions, and I can give you the answers to those. And I also have choices of different cards that you can use. Cynthia, you are so welcome. I hope that helped. I think, now that you know Maurice's name, you can call out to him personally, and it helps to really have a direct line to your guides. And you can actually build a personal relationship with them as you get to know them. They'll start reaching out to you in certain ways that will let you know that it's them. But you can call on any of your guides at any time, but it's nice to have more of a name and a face to go with it. So thank you for letting me read for you. It was an honor. Thank you. Okay, Raquel, let me get in tune with you while you let me know what you want. I'm sorry, Raquel, I just remembered. You mentioned something about your mother. So just let me know if that's what you still want. If you have a specific question for her. Okay, great. Let me check on that for you. Excuse me a second. My son just invaded my space.
Where's that Enderman at? The stuffed Enderman.
Oh, I tossed him up there.
I see him.
Okay. And make sure you stay out now, okay, babe? Love you. Sorry. Okay. It's my 7-year-old. Just a moment, Raquel. Okay. Raquel, I don't remember if you were on early enough when I said at the beginning that sometimes I have to throw out random things just to see if I've got the right person. Is the name Mary associated with you or your mother? Do you know of a Mary, a family member or friend that would resonate with you about you or your mother? I also heard the name, I don't know if it has anything to do with her or somebody else that's here, but I also heard the name Lucy. If either of those resonate with you, let me know, and I'll still continue to see what I can get while I wait for that. Okay, good. And she's just throwing out names to let me know. Does Mary resonate at all with you or with anybody that's listening? Oh, wow. Then that's probably why she's bringing it up. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I do feel like this is definitely for you, and she does feel like a motherly figure, which usually indicates mother. So I think I'm connected with her. Um, I'm sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate, Raquel. Um, did you recently visit, or she's showing me something to do with water? Did you recently travel, or have you been wanting to travel, or planning on traveling, or um, doing something around a body of water, a pretty large body of water? Okay. Yeah, certainly. You're welcome. We'll figure out who Mary is in a bit. I write these names down so I remember them to come back to them, because often I come back later and figure out who they are. Except for I lost my pen. Excuse me a second. Okay, great. Lost the pen. Spirit stole the pen. Or the fairies. It's okay. Nope. Sorry, false alarm. It was me. Sorry, guys. Okay, you're going to California soon because she made it feel like there was travel involved around water. And I did feel like it was coming up, but it did, I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to make that assumption. Okay, let me see if there's a message revolving around the travel or if she was just saying that to help validate. Because a lot of times they'll just throw things out there to let you know, I'm here, I'm aware of this situation, and yes, it's me. So, oh, okay. Well, there you go. That's probably it then. If nobody else is claiming a Mary, I don't sense she's here. I just sense that your mom mentioned the name Mary, but I thought, well, maybe there's somebody I'm not feeling yet, and Mary could be here, and I just haven't connected with her because I'm focused on your mom. So thank you for letting me know that. So let me just ask her if she has an actual message about the travel, or if that was just to validate. Oh, okay. Now that's different. I'll ask her if Mary is here or she was just bringing up the name to validate with you that it was her. So let me check. Okay. She said there's no particular message about the travel. She was just validating that she's aware of the travel and wants you to know that she is with you and to travel safely because she is with you and watching over you as you do that. So that's all she wanted you to know about that. Do you have a specific question you'd like to ask her while I ask about Mary? You can go ahead and type it while I ask about if Mary is present or if she was just mentioning the name. She's saying that there is a Mary present. Let me see if that is your husband's grandmother. Is her best friend still living, or is she passed over also? Let me see what I can get from her. No, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, Raquel. Yes, you did say that. No, this Mary that is here is not related to you and your situation. She was just letting me know that there is a Mary present. We're not sure who this Mary is yet, but it is not your husband's grandmother or her best friend. It's just helped her, I guess, to think of mentioning the name Mary. I think she was referring to her best friend Mary when she first spoke to help you validate that this is her. But this particular Mary that's here is not someone that's related to you. Okay. Well, she's not here with your mother, so it's not her. Okay, let me ask her about her sickness. It's a little, she's not very forthcoming about this information. I'm feeling like she knew something was wrong, that she knew something wasn't right, and she had suspicions that she was sick, but she underestimated how sick she really was, or how soon, I guess, it was coming. Like, I don't know how long she was sick, but I got the feeling like she had a feeling something was not right and that something might happen, but she didn't know the degree of how serious it was, or that it was to this extent that she was going to pass this soon. Yeah, I'm getting the feeling that if she had realized it was as bad as it was, then she would have told you and like tried to prepare you for that. But she didn't know exactly the degree of what she was dealing with at the time. Let me see if I can tune in to. Was she sick with something in the chest area, uh, lower throat, chest? I don't know if this is actually what took her, but I'm feeling like she had a symptom of some kind that made her feel uneasy in the chest. It's making me feel uneasy in the chest. I'm not like feeling like a gripping, like crazy severe pain, but it's just doesn't feel right. I'm not sure what I'm feeling here. Does she have anything wrong with her lungs? Because I don't know if she was diagnosed with this, but I heard the word emphysema or the start of emphysema. So I'm not necessarily getting, I'm not getting a real clear message as to if this is what took her, but it was something that was plaguing her that she did have. Okay. Yeah. Now see, that's the thing, is I didn't necessarily feel like that's what took her life, but I do feel like there was something going on with the lungs that was bothering her. And okay, yeah, and it's not real strong, like, and I said that it's not like a stabbing pain, not like a heart attack or a blood clot in the lung, but there was something going on with the lungs, and if she was coughing a lot, that's why. But it definitely was something that was brewing there and a nuisance to her. And I get the feeling like she might have had headaches or something that could have been a precursor to the brain hemorrhage, but she had several other things going on with her that she just kind of, I'm getting the feeling that she just kind of like had the other things checked out and never got answers. So she just thought, I'm not going to go unless it gets really bad. I just get this feeling like she procrastinated and put it off, and not understanding the immensity of how serious it was. For your sister? Okay, sure. Let me see. Give me a second, please. I want to check something here. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to get the connection a little stronger, the energy a little stronger. Raquel, how long has she been gone? If you don't mind me asking, I'm just curious because of the level of connection that I'm having with her. I'm trying to determine if... Thank you, Ethel. Take care and have a good evening, okay? Keep in touch. I enjoy talking with you. I'm trying to figure out if it's a connection on her end, but our energy is very weak, and that can depend on how long she's been gone or how short she's been gone. Okay. All right. And I'm trying to decide if it's me and my energy going down, but I had been getting several strong things. She just has a very weak connection. Let me see if I can do something to help with that. I'm going to ask my guides. I have a couple message guides that help me. Ross, I'm going to see if he can help bring her closer. Sorry, I'm fanning the energy. Did your sister not get to see her before she went? I know it was sudden, but still sometimes you still get a chance to say goodbye. I'm wondering though if your sister had a chance to say goodbye. Because I'm feeling some regret. And I'm feeling the feeling that I sometimes feel when someone doesn't get a chance to say goodbye to the spirit, and the spirit can sense that feeling of regret, and I'm just wondering if that's why, if your sister is experiencing that, if she didn't come in time. She did? Okay. Did she express, and I don't want to get too personal, but has she expressed to you in any way that she held back anything that she would have wanted to tell her, or did she feel like she didn't hear her? Because I'm just feeling like there's a strong, now, I mean, the connection's a little stronger now, and I'm feeling like there's some sort of a feeling of regret. She regrets either not saying something, or she feels like she didn't open up enough to her, or she's either just regretting something in the relationship, period. And mom is saying she needs to stop that. She doesn't want her feeling that way. She wants her to have resolve and closure because she deserves that. She wants her to be at peace the way that she is. Or, I don't know, I wonder if your sister is worrying about her and fearing that your mom's not at peace or something, but there's definitely, I feel a lot of emotions. And I normally do, I mean, that's only natural, but I just feel like she is really struggling with certain particular emotions. Your mom just really seems to want to let her know that she is totally okay. She is fine, she is at peace, and that she did not struggle. I'm getting the image that she may have, things looked worse than they really were for her on her end. So it may have appeared in your minds, or you guys may have worried that she struggled with severe pain, and the immensity of what happened weighed really heavily on you. But for her, it was completely peaceful. Completely. She makes me feel like when the time came, she thought of you, and then was able to just totally let go and go peacefully into her guides and her other loved ones that have passed on were waiting for her. And once that happens, they don't even look back for a while, because there's such a transition period that they go through that it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's a beautiful process. And sometimes we really worry when a loved one passes of something that seems so horrible that surely they had to have suffered. But I truly believe, and from what I've heard from Spirit, that when it's time to go, now they may have a gunshot or a car accident and they may feel pain at first. If it's not their time to go, they may suffer some. But when it's their time to go, Source, Universe, and their guides know it's their time to go ahead of time. And they have prepared everything for them so that they do not suffer in any way. So as soon as, even if she had taken a bullet or a brain hemorrhage happened that would have normally been extremely painful, it may have been the immediate onset. You may have seen her in some pain. I'm not sure what the scenario was, but they immediately numb that pain so that they don't suffer beyond that point. And then once they let go and resign themselves to the fact that they're passing, it is a very beautiful thing. It's so beautiful that very, very, very few people in Spirit ever resist it. Because why would you? It's an amazing thing. I mean, okay, Chasing Daylight, good. Nicole says there's a great book to read. about this. So I can assure you, and that's what she's telling me to tell you, is that when it happened, as soon as the immediate onset happened, beyond that, there was no pain, there was no suffering, and she hasn't suffered since. And she is with you. She's with your sister and any other family members. Okay, yeah, maybe look into getting that book for your sister, Raquel. I'm gonna check into it too, Nicole. And I'm gonna write it down. Chasing Daylight. But I definitely think those are the main things that your mom wants her to know. That all these emotions that she's dealing with, it's natural to feel grief. It's natural to feel pain. You're missing the person that you feel that you've lost touch with. But she doesn't want her feeling those extra feelings that aren't necessary. So whatever she's struggling with, guilt, regret, those things she needs to let go. She needs to find a way to let go. And tell her to talk to your mom. Assure her she's right here with me. She can be right there with you at the same time. She will hear you. She hears everything that your sister says. So if there's something she feels like she should have told her or opened up more about, or there's some way she feels like she should have resolved that relationship, she can still do it. It's not too late. Tell her she needs to do whatever she needs to release those feelings, and that will help move the grieving process forward. Does that make sense? And did you need anything else before we move on? While you reply, I'll see if Mom has anything else. This made me smile because this actually just happened with my daughter's guides the other day. Told me to pass this message on, so it always makes me smile. Your mother said that when you see a rainbow and you look at it, that is from her. She is having you look at and see that rainbow. It may be something you would have missed or went the other way and not even noticed it with driving. It may have been the opposite direction, but she's going to make you aware of that rainbow. And when you turn and see that rainbow, that's her. She's right there with you. She wants you to associate rainbows with her. Okay. Just a random message for your daughter, whatever Mom wants, or did you have something specific? And then while I'm waiting for that, we'll then do Jamie and Heather, and then I'll wrap up for the evening, because that's probably all I'm going to be able to do for the night. But anything specific, Raquel? And Jamie, if you haven't already, be deciding which type of reading, cards, pendulum, or mediumship, and what your question would be. And I'll get to you real soon here. Okay, let me ask. It's funny because she immediately started gushing. I mean, she immediately just was like, oh my gosh, that little girl is so freaking beautiful. That little girl is my life. She literally, and I don't know if she's little or not, she was just saying little in the sense of my little girl. Um, she said, yes, 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 tell her I'm with her everywhere. Everywhere she goes, I'm with her. I follow her. I watch everything she does. And she says, there is nothing that she can do in this life that is going to disappoint me or not or meet my expectations. She literally said, tell her to find her passion in life and follow it, and that will make me proud. That's the one message she wants for her to have as she grows. I don't know how old she is. She showed me an image of a little girl, but I don't know if she's just looking back on her being young, but I saw an image of a little girl maybe like 4 to 6-ish, I'm thinking, maybe a little bit older. I mean, age with that age is really hard, but I'm not saying that's her age. I'm just saying that's the way she was seeing her at the time, and sometimes they can be very sentimental, but gushing over her, saying how beautiful she is and that she is proud of her and she can do no wrong, that she will always be with her and always be proud of her. Was she? Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, my little guy was pretty young when mine passed too. I mean, not my mom, but my grandma, which was like my mom. She practically raised me, and yeah, that's hard. I understand that feeling, the feelings that are associated with that. So she still sees her like that little girl, because to her she's always going to be that little. I mean, she just gushed about how precious she is. So let her know that's how she feels, and that she'll always feel that way. She'll always be proud of her, no matter what. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for waiting with me and being patient. You have a wonderful evening. Thank you. Jamie, you ready, my dear? Are you still with me? You're very welcome, Raquel. I understand. I hope it helped. Okay, Jamie. I can't even tell who's still on. I know we have fluctuated. Okay, it is you, Jamie. Good. I was going to say we fluctuated back and forth between 1 to 3 people. I don't know if people are signing off for the night or if they're having technical problems still. So, okay. And let's see. Okay, great, Raquel. That's awesome. Thank you. Okay. Excuse me just a second, Jamie. I'm checking my phone for the message here. Excuse me just a second, Jamie. Okay. Checking my phone. Okay. Okay. Give me just one moment and I will try to connect with them. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because the numbers haven't seemed right when seems like there's more people on than were at times and vice versa. So I think you're right, Nicole. Okay, let me see here. Jamie. Jamie, do you know a Ruth? Alive, deceased, family or friend? I'm hearing two names. I'm hearing Ruth or Madge. If either of those make sense to you, let me know. I'm trying to check and see if they're your spirit guides. Okay, let me check. Okay. I got a double answer. I asked if she was a loved one or a spirit guide, or a guide. I mean, it doesn't have to be a specific spirit guide. It could be a loved one that passed that is now a guide. And she made it sound like both. But I asked her if she's your aunt, and I didn't get a reply. I didn't get a yes or no. I just heard guide again. Let me see what else she has to say. Would this be on your mom's side of the family if she was your aunt? Well, she's definitely a guide. I'm just trying to figure out, because I think she could be your aunt and is also a guide, but I don't know if you have another guide named Ruth besides her. But yes, she made me feel like she's on your mom's side of the family, and she told me to tell your mother hi. It could be Marge. It wasn't Mildred, but I definitely heard something that sounded like Madge. And usually when I'm off, it's usually just by a letter or two. So that would make sense. The R and the D being off. Let me see. Let me see if this is Marge here for you, Heather, or if it's for Jamie. Let me see. Because all I know is I asked who wants to step forward, and I heard both Ruth and Marge. I mean, excuse me, Madge. Okay. Okay, Jamie, she said she is a relative, and I feel like she is your aunt. She is a guide, and she said she's helping guide you. She said you have some special abilities, and she's trying to help you, guide you in the right direction with your abilities. Aw. Yeah, well, that doesn't mean anything to Spirit. Yeah. And, you know, whether you got to know her very well or not, she's still, once she's over there on the other side, they can have those connections that they didn't get to have with you. It's not the same, of course, than it is as it is with the physical, but it's at least a chance for them to help you, guide you, be with you, and have a relationship with you that they may not have otherwise. And I could see under those circumstances why she would want to be able to do that with you. You're okay, Heather. That's all good. So, are you aware of your abilities, Jamie? Because she says you've got great potential. And because of that, I'm not sure if that means that you're aware of it and working on them, or not really sure. She makes me think that you either have or are going to develop some level of clairvoyance, being able to see things, either clairvoyance or some degree of visual ability. Yeah, you're sensitive to that. And that's good. That's good that you picked up on that, because some people, I'm sorry I keep moving the laptop, guys. It's hard for me to stay comfortable, so I apologize. I hope I'm not making anybody sick out there. um, yeah, she's saying you have amazing potential and you're going to get it. You're going to get a handle on this, and she's there to help you. All of your guides are. She wants you to ask for help if you feel like you need it, because sometimes they don't realize, they hear things, but they don't know what you're really willing to give up and let go of, and how much help you're willing to accept. So please make sure to ask them if you're struggling with something and you want help with it. Yes, that's, yeah, that's kind of what she showed me. Not your stepsister, but you being able to see things that way. You, she says that there are ways of enhancing these abilities and learning how to tune into them. You already have the natural ability within you. The fact that you're aware of it is the biggest obstacle, the first step of them helping you to see that. So she's really urging you and encouraging you to do more research and reach out for possibly online classes, or finding just websites that have different exercises that you can do to help make those abilities stronger. And as I was mentioning in the other reading, bringing up your vibration. She didn't say that, but I'm just offering that. As you build up your vibration through meditation, through being out in nature, through crystals, bringing high vibrational crystals around you, lighting candles, all of these things can help. But the more that you work with your abilities, it will naturally raise your vibration. So she strongly wants to see you reach your full potential on this, because then not only will you be able to help yourself and help a lot of people, but then you'll be able to have that relationship with her that you may not feel that connection right now, but you'll have a deeper connection to her and be able to build that relationship with her, even though she's on the other side. Let me see what else I can get. it doesn't seem to matter that you didn't have a strong relationship with her, because she still wants you to know that she loves you and is there for you, wants to take care of you. She said that once you get these abilities developed with the heart that you have, you're going to help a lot of people. She said you're very caring, very compassionate, and if you develop those abilities, she sees you being able to help heal people that way. So I don't know if you've ever given thought to that, if you've wanted to advance the abilities for that kind of a purpose, or if you've just been curious, or how far your curiosity has gone with it. But she's saying that you definitely, if you want to, that she just said if you want to, but if you want to, that you should pursue that, because it can be really meaningful for you. It can help you just as much as it helps others. Does all that make sense, Jamie? You kind of got a double jackpot there with her being a relative and a guide. But before I move on, I want to get Heather in. But if you have any, like one more question, I'd be happy to ask. But then we'll move on to Heather, so we're not keeping her too long. Okay, good. Okay, Nicole. Good, thank you. Heather, while I wait to see if Jamie has any more questions, please let me know which type of reading you would like, if you want it to be a mediumship reading, a card reading, or pendulum, and a question if you have one. If not, that's fine too. We can do a general reading. You're welcome. I'm glad to help you, Jamie. I mean, as soon as I asked if someone would step forward for you, I heard Ruth right away. So that is, then I heard Ruth and then Madge, so hopefully that's for Heather, but I'm really glad that she came through for you. Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. See, I get to thinking too much on one thing, and you can tell me something a minute ago and I'll already forget it. I apologize, but yes, I will ask about the lock and the house. Okay, Jamie, I am getting that, yes, they can open and close doors or locks. I'm getting that there is a spirit attached to that property. I don't know that he's necessarily attached, but he came with the property, so to speak. an older man, and I'm getting the name George. Um, I'm not 100% sure that he did do the lock, but I know they're capable of it, and she tells me that he's completely innocent and nothing to worry about, that he's just minding his own business, living his life. And she said, she made me think that it might have been him because she said, well, she made it sound like he is uncomfortable with the state of affairs the way the world is right now. So he always wants to make sure that house is safe. So he very innocently could have been messing with the lock, trying to make sure the door was locked. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely getting the feeling that this is an innocent spirit, that he is no threat, and that he's just minding his own business. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. There's probably a lot of energy in that house then. Wow. Yeah, but I'm getting definite sense that this is an older man. I'm seeing over 70. Um, Thin, gray. I mean, he looks pleasant enough, but I can imagine. Yeah, yeah, I don't know how he passed, but I definitely do not feel any level of threat. Usually I feel a little anxiety when they talk about somebody else like that if there's a problem. Um, but no, I think it's completely innocent. And unless you see, other more threatening activity, I wouldn't worry about it. But it sounds like there might even be more than one. With the potential of all the energy in that house, there could be somebody else as well. But this particular person, she made me feel like probably was responsible for that lock. And he is not a threat at all. So unless you feel threatened or hearing like threatening noises, or being touched in a negative way, I wouldn't worry about it. But if it makes you feel uncomfortable, you can sage the house and ask your guides to make sure that there's nothing negative in the home. And as you sage the house, you can state that as well, that anything negative leave, and that does usually make a big difference. Okay, Jamie? Well, I hope all that helped and made some sense to you. But thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. And it sounds to me like you have an awesome guide with you, and you have a lot of, she made it sound like you have a lot of loved ones looking after you too, even though they might not communicate all the time during readings, but I wish you all the best with that. Okay, Heather, let's see, you said anything about your mom. Okay. Okay, you're welcome, Jamie. No problem. And just remember, your home is your home. And most of the time, if you feel uncomfortable with something that's going on, you can state that to Spirit, and they'll stop whatever it is. Most of the time. Not always, but most of the time, they will stop whatever it is. And you just tell them, you're making me very uncomfortable with that. But it doesn't sound like it's to that point, so I think you'll be fine with it. Okay. Let me see, Heather, give me just a one moment, please. Okay, Heather, I heard the name. I don't know if this is for you. I've got, actually, I think there's only one name that went unclaimed so far. But I'm hearing the name, and I don't know if it's referring to a name, so let me know if you know a Carol, because I hear Carol, but then after that I hear Christmas. So I don't know if, and I do sense a female presence. So I don't know if she's named Carol or if she's referencing a Christmas carol or something around Christmas. Is there a significance? Does any of that make sense to you yet? I know that's pretty vague, but just a place to start from. And while I wait, I'll go ahead and ask some more. Okay. What about the name Virginia or Jenny, like from the name Virginia? Um, or a version of that? Really, Jamie? Hmm. Okay. Let me see if this is for Heather or for Jamie. Just a second. And even if it's for Jamie, Heather, I'll still stick with you. I just need to figure this out. And on the Virginia, it could even mean, it might even not be a name. It could be the state of Virginia. I'm just trying to piece it together because they're just throwing out words. Okay. Okay. No, Jamie, I feel like this is for, I mean, that's a interesting coincidence, but I do feel like this is for Heather. Okay. The woman that said Virginia, yeah. But I think the carol, the Christmas, I think it does have to do with Christmas. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but my cat is trying to get in the door and keeps banging on it and meowing really loud. So that's all that is if you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it or not. It's a little distracting. He needs to leave me alone. Let's see. Okay, this is somebody for you, Heather. When I asked if it's your mom, and she said no, so I'm trying to figure out who she is. Hold on just a moment. Do you have an aunt that is passed that would know Virginia? I'm still trying to get the name, but wait a minute. Did you say, was Madge your aunt? Marge, excuse me. Would Marge know Virginia? Let me see. Go ahead, I'll wait for your answer here. Okay. Okay. I do feel like this is Marge. Let me see why she would be saying Virginia. No, I'm getting confusing things. I think like Marge is here, but I still feel like there's an aunt on your dad's side. Because I said I was talking to Marge and I hear, no, she's an aunt on your dad's side. Meaning that there's somebody else here that is an aunt on your dad's side that is passed. Do you have an aunt that's passed on your dad's side? They said dad's side clear as day. Okay. Now this is a symbol, so I'm not sure if it's actually for me it's often a symbol, but she's showing me a rose, but it can also be a name. Is there a rose on your dad's side that you know of? Because it might not be a name, it might be a symbol for flowers. But I'm asking just to cover the bases here. Okay. I'm going to try and talk to Marge, but I want you to check when you can. I don't know how you would or how you can, but I would like, if you can, check and see if you have an aunt on your dad's side that's passed, and see if her name is Virginia or if there's any relationship to the state of Virginia. Just see what you can do, because I'm asking and asking, and I still am feeling like this is somebody on your dad's side, an aunt, maybe a great aunt, and there's some relation to a Virginia, whether it's her name. I asked if it was her name, and I think she said yes, but it's kind of weak. So since we're not sure about that, I'm going to try and focus on Marge and see if I can get information about your mom. I have found, since I'm still fairly new at this, that I think it's with any mediums, like you don't always connect energy with every spirit. So I'm not sure if she's having problems coming through. Your mom is having problems coming through because of that, or if I'm just getting that tired. But I know I've got Marge here, so let me see if I can get information from her for you. Or I've got somebody related to Marge. Wait a minute. She's confusing me now. You said Marge is your... Oh, okay. There you go. Okay. Well, that's probably why she's saying it, but the connection is so weak that I'm not getting good answers from her. Same thing with Marge, and I apologize at the moment, but did you say that Marge is actually past? Because I feel like I'm getting confusing answers from her. Marge is on your mom's side, your aunt. But she's got me confused. But you did say that, I apologize, but you did say that Marge is past? Because now something that she just said made me think that it's not her. But she was just saying Marge to validate Marge, and maybe I misunderstood before. So I'm doubling back and questioning myself. So yeah, she has passed? Okay. I don't know why she's saying it like this. I'm sorry, let me connect here, Heather. I will get this straightened out for you. Okay, it's just the way she's saying it. She had me questioning what I already knew, but okay. Okay. Let me ask her about your mom. This is definitely your aunt. The way she was saying things and the weak energy, it was getting me confused, so I apologize. Sorry, Heather. It's the hardest one I've had tonight. But let me get this. I'm going to ask her about your mom. And if I can't get an answer out of her, maybe I can connect to one of your guides. But let me ask. Okay, Heather. Did your mom take something? And the reason I ask that is because I'm seeing the image of her, like, her throat, rubbing her throat like something got stuck in her throat or she was burning her throat, but then I feel a feeling of disoriented and kind of out of it. Yes. Okay. Did she hang by the throat? Because I definitely get something about the throat and something blocking. Okay. I felt like there was a block or something didn't go right around the throat. So I didn't necessarily see her taking anything. I saw the throat and I thought maybe the feeling of disoriented, usually I get that when somebody took meds, but that would make sense if she had gone off of her meds too, if she's confused and disoriented. But the throat, I was thinking if she took something, maybe a pill got caught in her throat or sorry, I'm thinking too much into it because I'm getting tired. I should just be moving my brain out of the way and taking in the message. So if she hung by the throat, then that would validate the throat. And if she went off the meds, then that would validate the haziness, the confusion. Yeah. Okay. Wow, Heather, I'm sorry. Yeah. And I asked if this was PEG or I asked about PEG. And just when she started going into talking about your mom. So this is Marge telling me what happened with your mom, or trying to tell me what happened with your mom. So let me get some more information from her. Okay. Pam. Okay. She's making me feel like your mom is here, but I can't connect with her for some reason. So she's kind of trying to help me understand either your mom's here or she can sense her somehow. She said she did it, but she immediately regretted it. And as far as the meds go, I got the feeling like, and I hope I'm reading this right, but I got the feeling like she was kind of lackadaisical about the medicine. Like she was tired of taking it. She was frustrated with it for some reason, and she underestimated how much it helped. And she just was frustrated with, I got a feeling of frustration around the medicine, a feeling of frustration about what was going on in her life at that moment, and she she really did not think it would have the impact that it had by not taking it, is the sense that I feel. or that's what she's relaying. Um, I just feel like all the way around it was a lot of confusion. She wasn't thinking clearly, and she was confused before she went off the meds. Either they weren't working well enough, but she was confused and did not feel like they were that as important as you and I know that they are. I just keep feeling like she felt like it wasn't that going to be that big of a deal because she didn't need them. I don't know if it was like a sense of invincibility. I don't think that's the right word. It was just, okay, yeah, I'm not necessarily feeling that per se, but I got a feeling similar to that where she just didn't feel like it would make that big of a deal to come off of them, and that like she got this, you know what I mean? Not invincible, but just like she's fine. She'll be able to deal with it. And like she had other ideas and thought that if she came off of them, it would, might have a little bit of a side effect, but whatever her plan was besides that was going to take care of it. And I don't know. I wasn't sensing the other form of healing, but I felt that in general she's feeling like, I got this. I don't need that. It's not helping that much. It's not gonna be huge if I go off of it. And I just get this feeling of almost immediate shock that almost feel like once she passed and she passed over, there was this immediate feeling of, oh my gosh, I didn't know that it was going to lead me to this, and then an immediate sense of regret. Because Marge keeps saying regret. She regrets it, and she regrets what it's put you and everybody else through. Because she said I feel like she didn't say this, but she's giving me the sensation, the feeling of immense regret, and like she would have never done this if she was in her right mind. Never. That she would have, if she had been able to think clearly, she would have found another way. Oh, wow. Yeah, I definitely felt a sense of frustration with life in general. Not like she would kill herself over it if she had been in her right mind, and not like I don't feel like that was ever her intention in the first place. So that's why I think the meds were such a huge factor here, because it's confusion. I sense that wishy-wash back and forth of roller coaster of emotions of, I would have never done this if I had been thinking clearly, but I wasn't thinking clearly, so I couldn't even think straight. All I know is I was experiencing frustration. I was feeling all these emotions about the situation she was going through at the time, and just like, I'm done. I don't want to deal with this. I'm not. But that was because of the meds. And definite feeling of once she did it, she realized, because now all of a sudden she's in clear thought. She crossed from that physical body interfering with those thoughts and all the sickness that was influencing her. She didn't feel that anymore. She was just a soul. Now she's like free of that, and she realized, oh, what did I do? And that's where the regret comes in after that. And I really feel like she's trying to tell Marge that she wanted you to know she would have never done this to you and to everybody else if she could have been thinking clearly. I wish I could talk directly to her, because then I could ask her questions and get more direct answers, but I think she's really adamant with Marge, telling her, tell her I wouldn't have done this to her. Tell her I wouldn't have done this. So the regret is there, but I also don't feel like, or Marge is making me feel like she's at peace now with it, that she's been able to work through that, and once she got to the other side, she was clear enough that she could walk through everything that she did and see the reason for it. And she's now at peace with the fact that that wasn't her fault. And I think it's important for her to have you know that she knows that, and I think she hopes that you know that too. And that if you know that she would have never done it to begin with, if she was thinking clearly, that hopefully you can put your mind at ease of knowing that it was the sickness, it was something medically wrong that she had no control over, and it robbed that ability from her to make those good, safe choices. And unfortunately, it took over, and it's a tragedy, but she really seems to be in a better place now mentally with making peace of it, because I felt frustration, I felt regret. She had me feel all these things, but then I feel a sense of calm now, where she's not struggling with it anymore. But I do sense some worry that you and others would struggle with it, and she doesn't want that, or are struggling. Yeah, that you guys are struggling with it, and of course you would be. Who wouldn't? So, yeah. Well, good. I hope that helps. I'm sorry I couldn't connect with her personally, but hopefully that was enough to help you have some sort of resolve with the situation. I don't know. It's crazy because I can connect with my grandmother, but I can't connect with my grandfather. I've tried and I just can't do it. Just yesterday there was a lady in one of my Facebook groups that was able to connect with him, and I was like, yes, and I know how great that felt because we were so close. But that was my grandfather, that wasn't my mother, so I can only imagine what that has to be like. He found other ways to connect with me because I laid there one day when I woke up one morning and his hat flew off the wall and hit me. Bounced off my bed because I kept trying to connect with him and I couldn't, and I think he got frustrated and knew that I was frustrated. So he had that fly off and I knew it was him instantly. So hopefully your mom will find other ways to connect with you in the future, because at least she got her message across. Maybe she'll relax now instead of trying to connect with you, because she knows you have abilities too. She knows you're amazing with them, but so it's got to be frustrating that she can't get through to you that way. So maybe now that she's gotten this message to you, maybe hopefully she'll reach out into you in other ways with signs and, you know, the way they do. But thank you. I appreciate it. So, okay, well, thank you so much. I am ready to get off of here, but I am going to keep this list for the people that didn't show up. I'm saying this on the video for those that watch it back. Whoever was not able to connect tonight because of technical issues or anything else that happened, I'm going to keep the list, and you will keep your place in that list, and I'm going to announce either tomorrow or the next day when the next reading will be, as well as that energy healing that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So don't worry if you didn't get a reading tonight. We'll definitely make that happen anyway. But thank you, everyone, for being patient with me getting a slow start. I'm so glad that it all worked out and everybody got the connections that they needed, because I wasn't too sure tonight coming into it. But I'm glad it all worked out. Oh, I love that, Heather. That is so cool. Yeah. Oh, thank you. No, you're an inspiration to me, Heather. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I still have so much to learn from you. I can't wait till we can get together. But thank you, Jamie. You too. Thank you, guys. And, we'll connect again real soon. I love you all. Feel free to inbox me if you have any questions before the next reading, and I can put you on the list if you're not already there. All right. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.